Every time. And that's why I love rubber boots, because it just doesn't matter. You just walk right through anything and everything, who cares? Hey friends, welcome back. I am Jason. Today we're setting up my wintertime shelter. What I would want to be comfortable in conditions such as this. Now I know I don't live in the far north, like we've discussed in previous videos. Just because you've made a poor choice and you live in a place where it gets to 40 below, doesn't mean you got to take it out on the rest of us. I get it, but here it's relatively very cold. It's about 38 degrees right now. It's sleeting, snowing, a little bit of rain mixed in it. It's pretty windy. And those combinations right there make for a very frigid evening if you are not prepared. Could you make do with a lot less gear than what I've got? Of course. Could you improvise a shelter? Of course. Could you figure things out? Yep, absolutely. But it's nice to just be comfortable from time to time and carry the gear that you need. No, I'm not a lot of creature comforts. I'm not carrying a lot of want to haves. I'm carrying the need to haves, you know, to keep my core body temperature where it needs to be. Right now I'm getting a little warm actually from hiking on the hills here, carrying the pack. And that's why I dress in layers, but we'll discuss clothing in a different video. This one's primarily about the shelter I would set up in conditions such as this. Come on, girl. There she is. There she is. Hey. Hey, girl. She's very excited. Maggie loves the cold weather. And then she also loves to sleep in my sleeping bag. She's a turd. She'll be gross and disgusting. And she'll always crawl in my sleeping bag. Even if I bring her own blanket, I'll pack her specifically her own gear. She'll get in my sleeping bag. It's hard to tell her no, because she's just so happy to be there. Come on, girl. Let's go. Nasty day, ain't it, girl? We love this. We love this terrible weather, don't we? Ah, yeah. Good girl. That's it. That's it. I think it goes without being said that clothing is our first form of shelter, and arguably the most important form of shelter. And that's why I carry lots of different layers. I like merino wool. I like just wool, an outer layer, really durable wool outer layer such as this one. Really like that. But again, that's not what this video is about. That'll be in a future video or a previous video, depending on which way I air these, in which order I air them. Right now, we're gonna be setting up our primary shelter to keep us out of these elements, because it's getting worse. The weather is getting nastier as we speak. So the first thing that I probably want to do is I'm just going to get past my extra layers of clothing here, and I'm going to pull out my tarp, and I'm going to go ahead and get that set up pretty much immediately so I have a drier space to work. Well, the location that I've chosen to set up my camp here, it's not, you know, the perfect location, but it is a location. It is a fairly flat spot in a very unflat region of the world. It's a little bit of a depression right here. I get that. Then there might be a little bit of cold air kind of sump right there. But to be honest with you, it's probably going to be very small, very minute difference in temperature between right here in this little low spot and the little bit of elevation that we've got here above it. I mean, it's probably insignificant. I'm not on the very top of the hill. I'm not at the bottom of the hill. Definitely don't want to camp down there in the bottom if you can help it, because that's where all that cold air is going to settle in the evening. And that's going to be frigid, so don't do that. But this little flat spot right here is going to be pretty cozy, I think. There's already a good amount of leaf litter right here that's going to keep it from being muddy and nasty. And I think with all things considered, a couple of roots there, all things considered, if I could lay down maybe right here, this would be just about perfect. So let's see if we can get our tarp positioned over top of that spot so we don't have to manicure the earth very much. Kind of an irregular shaped diamond pattern tarp. I like this tarp quite a bit. It's not huge, but it's big enough. You know, it's big enough for one person to camp out really comfortably. Corners of my tarp, I always keep cordage, and I keep it just like this. There's kind of a little loop hitch right there. I pull that, and then it all comes undone. So my cordage is ready to rock. And then all I gotta do is kind of figure, for the most part, where I want my shelter to be. And then I start with this first corner, and I'll just tie it off really simply, just like I tie my shoes. If you know how to tie your shoes, this is the knot right here. You just have to pull the loose end right here, and it all comes undone. So cross the line over itself, snug it up to the tree, and then make just a simple little bunny ear like that. Pull it tight, and that's more than secure enough. There she is. All right, and so since the weather is getting pretty dang nasty, I'm gonna go ahead and throw all my crap into the shelter, keep it dry, because like I said, it's warm. It's snowing, but it's warm. So get all our gear underneath a little bit of shelter, and we'll just go ahead and strap this corner down right here as best we can to keep ourselves protected, kind of like that right there. I'll probably just stake that corner out right there. And I do keep stakes in my pack for the winter time, because sometimes the ground is super hard and frozen, and it's just really convenient to have some ready to go stakes like that. So I'll just stake this corner down over here, try to keep myself as dry as I can. That's a big deal in the winter time. Sometimes you're out and about and you might be busy doing something, you know, you're on a mission, and then the weather turns bad and you're trying to finish it up, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're like, ah, crap, now the weather's really nasty and I'm starting to get wet. What do I do? Well, you get your shelter set up as quickly as you possibly can, and that's essentially what I did right there. So now what I would do is I'd want to get myself something dry to lay down on or sit down on, and for that I've got a trash bag in here and that would work, but I'm just going to use my poncho. So I'm just going to unroll my poncho a little bit and lay it down like that. And then if I want to sit down, I can sit down. If I want to put my gear on it, my clothes on it, keep them dry, I'll do that. Now I'm semi out of the elements, and I can adjust this thing as needed. I'll probably bring this corner down right here to protect myself from the wind, because the wind is kind of wanting to come in this way on me. See that coming in? It's a good looking sail. So, and like I said, I might just drop this corner down just a little bit. Oh yeah, that's significantly better already. Now, if I needed to just kind of get out of the weather temporarily and hang out, this would be fine. The wind, I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, the has kind of stopped because you're in here, but I don't feel hardly any of that wind hitting me right now, so that's good. So, sheltered for the time being. Always can make some changes if we should need to. But now let's get into, if we were going to sleep here, how would we set this thing up? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my bivy bag. That's kind of the, I don't know, I guess I'd call that kind of the meat and the potatoes of my shelter here. Once I've gotten out of the elements to some degree, this military bivy bag right here is going to keep me really nice and snug. They're big, they're bulky, I get it. But I tell you what, man, I've never regretted carrying this thing, because once you're in it, oh, it's so nice. Rain, sleet, snow, doesn't matter. Just lay down on the wet ground and you're good to go. I really like this Gore-Tex bivy bag. Inside of this bag right here, this is the inflator bag for my sleep pad. Inside of there is my sleeping bag right there, a 15-degree bag, also from Big Agnes. Not sponsored by any of this stuff. I bought this stuff full price right here. Very good gear, good stuff. So I unroll my sleep pad. And the sun looks like it. The sun is out. Look at that. Awesome. Look at that blue sky. What? We went from terrible, nasty weather moments ago to a sunny day. It's still windy, it's still wet, but you know. All right, so all you gotta do to inflate this thing is that right there. You pop open this thing, you pop open the thing on the bag, you plug it in, and then you just get some air inside of this bag like that. Kind of just pop it open, and then you start rolling it up like that. And that pushes all the air from the bag into the sleep pad. And it takes about 10, I think, give or take, somewhere around there, 10 of these bag loads rolled down to inflate your sleep pad. Yeah, I really do appreciate the simplicity of the foam, just roll out pads or the accordion ones, because you just flop them out there and you're done. You don't have to do any of this. But man, I'm telling you, I've never regretted the, 2 minutes it takes me to set this mattress up. It is so warm, so comfortable. I sleep just as good in this system right here as I do at home, pretty much in my bed, which is saying a lot because I sleep pretty good. I think that was 8. I think it was 8 bagfuls to fill this thing up. Again, this is a 15-degree bag, but there's no insulation. In order to save some space, they take away the insulation that's on the back because you're compressing that laying on it anyway, and it doesn't really do you much good. So there just isn't any insulation. It's just basically a top quilt mummy bag sort of deal. And this stretchy stuff here goes around the pad. This just kind of stretches over like that. And like that. And now it's all kind of one piece, right? And you don't fall off of your sleep pad in the middle of the night. And then all of this I put down inside of my bivy bag, like so. Like that. And button it up. There she is. Hey, Maggie girl. And button it up like that, and you can zip it up on the sides like so, and you've got this self-contained sleep system that is freaking amazing. I'm telling you, it takes a few minutes to set up. Kind of throw it in there like that. Move it over just a smidge so it's underneath my tarp. And then, oh my. Come here, Maggie. And then you are living, my friends. You are living. If you get inside of that sleeping bag, on top of that mattress, inside the bivy bag, under this tarp, it does not matter how nasty. It looks like the nasty weather's coming back. The splash of blue sky is gone. And it's back windy and sleeting again. It does not matter what's going on outside. Oh man, I mean, just laying on this without being in it or in my bag or anything, super cozy. Just having a soft place to lay down at night is pretty awesome. And the bivy bag itself kind of protects that inflatable pad, I mean. I could put my poncho underneath this. I've got a garbage bag I could put underneath it if you were worried about that. If you were on kind of a prickly, hard surface or rocky surface or something, you could do that. But I'm not worried about it where I am right now. Maggie and I are good to go. Got some holes in my tarp. Patch those up. So speaking of shelter, on the subject of shelter, as many of you know, I've been helping out a little bit here and there when I have time to, with the North Carolina flood disaster, Hurricane Helene recovery effort. And recently, a guy named Jared reached out to me. And I spoke with him when I was at Georgia Bushcraft, and I interviewed him about his experience during the hurricane because he had some flooding at his place too. But he reached out to me and is interested in building a tiny home for people for a family or a couple families perhaps that were affected by this and they lost everything. They lost their homes in the flood. And I'm obliged to help out. So I'm going to offer my time, obviously, to help construct the thing and probably a little bit of money as well. But what I would like from you guys, if you're interested, Maggie, get back here. Maggie, come on. Come here. Get in here. Stay. if you guys are interested, if you'd like to pitch in and help contribute to this thing, he's offered to build this completely 100% off-grid, code compliant. So you won't. There's been a lot of issues going on in the North Carolina effort. People have been offering to give away tiny homes, build tiny homes for people that are essentially homeless, and the local county governments are kind of shutting them down because these buildings don't meet the local building codes. Regardless of how you feel about that, that's what we're dealing with. So, but this would be a code compliant, completely off grid, 500 to 700 square foot home that we could give to a family and have them set up. And this could be a permanent solution to their problem, perhaps. And that's kind of what we're looking for. So we will be looking for the right family or families that are in need, that kind of lost everything and need the help. And if you guys are interested in contributing to this, we're gonna. He's offered to build it at cost. All he's trying to do is raise the money to buy the supplies to build the thing. He's not going to make any money off of this. He's going to donate all of his time, which is an amazing thing, and it's no small thing. So if you're interested in contributing to that, there'll be a link in the description. There'll be a link in the comment section as well, and we can get to work on this project and really bless a family that needs it. Now that I'm in my shelter, I can get everything. If I was going to spend the night here, I could get everything stowed away for the evening and get all my crap stored back into my pack, so it's not just floating around. I'd be organized here to some degree, as organized as I get. That, and then I might use my Swanee here, my wool coat as a pillow, perhaps. Or I could use my bag of spare clothing that I keep in my pack that we went over in a previous video. I just use that as a pillow, and a pillow is a game changer. I sleep so much better when I've got just a little bit of a pillow. So that's probably what I would do with that. But I would stick all this stuff in my pack, get it all zipped up, squared away, stowed away. Poncho's on the ground. I'd probably just sit my pack on top of that poncho right there. It's underneath the tarp. We are dry and cozy. I'd take off my boots. I would get into my dry layers, my dry base layer, hat, dry socks. I love rubber boots, but they don't breathe at all. So at the end of the day, your feet are a little bit damp, especially if you've been up hiking around. If you're just sitting around camp, it's not a big deal. But if you're out hiking and hunting and doing whatever you do, your feet might be a little bit damp. So change your socks, put the dry socks on, complete dry base layer, and then I would just crawl inside my sleeping bag. What is she doing? Something in that hole that she's investigating. Hope it's not a skunk. Maggie's been sprayed by a skunk more than once. And it's pretty terrible. It's pretty bad every time. She's had to live outside for at least a month because she just smells so terrible. She's not allowed in the house. Regardless of what we do, to all the things you're thinking of, the skunk treatments. Name them. Go ahead in the comment section. Help me out. Help the video out and leave that in the comment section. All the best skunk treatments. But we did them all. And they worked to some degree, but she still was disgusting for a long time. We even did peroxide, and it kind of turned her hair reddish. So she was like a redhead for a long time. One of the things that I don't like about this system, not a big deal, but it's just, kind of annoying, is that the zipper for my sleeping bag is on the left, and the zipper for my bivy bag is on the right. So that's a little bit annoying. But to be honest with you, you don't really need to zip up anything. I mean, I might zip up I don't even zip up the sleeping bag when I'm in this system right here, but I would zip up the outer bivy bag right here. And then I would just tuck myself away inside this thing. Like I said before, using my spare clothing as a pillow. And then, holy crap. Oh my gosh, life is good. Every time I do a shelter type video and I get cozy, I'm really tempted to take a nap. It's always really difficult to resist that temptation once I'm stowed away in my shelter here. But I tell you what, man, like I said, I've slept out in near 0 degrees. I forget what the coldest it was, but near 0, and had no issues whatsoever in this setup right here. Rain, sleet, snow, wind, doesn't matter at all. Come on. Wanna go in there? Go on. Go on. You know you want to. Every time. Every time. This isn't a 2-person shelter here, Maggie. It's a 1-man shelter, not a man and a dog shelter. 1.5-man shelter. But she loves it. And she is pretty warm, actually. The only problem with her being in here with me is that it's a mummy style bag, and she squishes me to one side and it compresses the down on one side. So my hip over here, my haunches get a little bit cold. But Maggie, on the other hand, she's super warm, aren't you, girl? Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen it, Maggie and I did a TV show called Called to the Wild on National Geographic, where we survived in the Maine wilderness for 10 days. And it was actually a pretty fun experience. I actually enjoyed that show quite a bit. So if you want to check that one out, I think it's on Disney Plus. It's probably the easiest way to see that one. There's other ways, I'm sure, but that's the one that I know of. And you could see Maggie here getting after it. All right, friends. Well, before I fall asleep and take myself a little siesta, I want to hear what you think about this setup in the comments section. I'd be really grateful for it. Let me know what you'd bring, what you wouldn't bring. If you think this is an absolute terrible idea and I'm probably going to die this winter, just let me know. Let me know what you think. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3. Where are you going?